What's up, E.D.G family? Kevin here, and today we're going to be going on a journey together. We're continuing our Growler tour series. I will be talking about some of the fantastic places I have visited: Colorado, Washington State, Las Vegas in this one. We'll start a little bit local, but we're going to take a journey together. We'll be talking some of my favorite places to game at. I enjoy playing games at tap houses. It's generally a good time. So we'll be doing that today, and we'll also be continuing our review on this uKeg. So stay with me. Alright, so I gotta say, I am super excited to be going on this journey with you guys today. Quite an adventure. We'll be doing this part 2. We'll be continuing it into a part 3. So look out for that. But it has been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we have tested this. I haven't touched it since. It has literally been sitting in a refrigerator. It still has the CO2 on, so keeping it pressurized. We'll be tasting that, seeing what it is, how it is. If you don't remember, this is a Pale Ale by Wichita Brewing Company. It's a revived recipe from Tallgrass, so I am familiar with how it tastes. That's kind of the reason I picked this one. But we'll be sipping on that, and we'll be going on a journey. We're going to be going on what I would call a growler tour, a brewery tour, if you will. We'll be going, like I said, we'll be starting here. We'll be going to some of the best states in the United States for craft beer. That is a fact. So we'll be starting that today. We'll be taking that into a part 3 as we continue the journey. But I'm really excited. Some fun stories to talk about, some great places to talk about. We'll be talking about some pub games as we go. Some of my favorite ones to take places, have a good time. We'll also be talking about, some of the beers they have there, but I'm going to get this going. I want to see what this is. I have not messed with this, like I said, since the last video. So let's check this. We're going to do a great little pour. Hopefully, well, I will tell you, I don't have a lot of carbonation going right now. That is not ideal. Not ideal. Interesting. We're going to have to see maybe where we failed on this. I don't know what we're going to do. I should be good. That should still be tight. Interesting. But I don't have any pressure. So we will have to look into that. Probably user error. We'll say that right now. Like I said, I will check to see what's going on here, but we got quite a bit still in here. And we'll have to see where I messed up on this. I have a bad feeling about this though. Doesn't taste bad. I do believe it's probably a little flat. I don't know if we need to change the CO2 out in it, but I will look into that between videos because I want to continue on here. I made some notes because sometimes I get going and I'll be in post and I'll be like, hey, you didn't even talk about that. Sometimes I'm a little disappointed. Sometimes I'm like, it's okay. But I'm going to talk about the first growler I ever picked up. I didn't get it at a brewery. I got it local. I got it at a liquor store. And it is a Dead Guy Ale from Rogue Brewing. I believe they're called Ales and Rogue Ales. This is from Newport, Oregon. So I will tell you, this is the only time I've ever seen something like this as far as distribution. Distributing your beer across state lines in a growler. Very cool. I don't know if they still do that. I haven't seen one of these in a while. But very, very cool. I do enjoy some Rogue Brewing. This is probably on my bucket list. If I ever make it up to Oregon, this would be one of the things I would definitely have to do. I would definitely have to go to Rogue Brewing. But yeah, they have some pretty good beer. I did think I tasted on a Bones unboxing. I don't know if it was a Bones unboxing or a playthrough. They had a Dead Guy IPA. Very, very solid. But I'm going to leave this one pretty short because, like I said, not a whole lot of experience here. This is just one of the first growlers I ever owned. Picked it up. Good beer. Wouldn't necessarily... Definitely one of those things, if you pick it up, you should drink it within a day or two. But yeah, Rogue Brewing. And this is where the journey really starts. This is where it starts for me with what we have in here with some Wichita Brewing Company. I wouldn't say Wichita Brewing Company was the most the first craft brewery in my area for sure, but I will tell you, this one is what got me going locally. I really like Wichita Brewing. They have some fantastic beers over the year. One of the first one they ever had was a Valley View Vanilla Porter. Probably the only thing I would compare that to would be Breckenridge Vanilla Porter. Very, very good. They have a V6 IPA, just pretty solid IPA across the board, and then also 502 Amber, one of my favorites, just a mellow brown. But Wichita Brewing is more than just kind of a tap house locally. They have a fantastic restaurant, pizzas, sandwiches, wings. They do all kinds of other stuff too. This is just generally a really good place to go get something to eat local. But yeah, I do really enjoy Wichita Brewing Company. They have special releases, Mad Scientist series, I think is kind of what they have going on. And then, as I mentioned, they have taken a brewery that closed down several years back, kind of revived their recipes. Buffalo Sweat, it's kind of an oatmeal stout. 8-bit IPA, which, you know, didn't really work out too well for us. And then Zombie Monkey. I don't know if I think I've done that earlier on the channel. It's a seasonal release. One of my favorite robust porters. Fantastic. If we get it again this year, I'll definitely be talking about some more. But yeah, Wichita Brewing Company, kind of the start for the craft beer experience for me locally. Really, really like these guys. It'll actually be the only local place I talk about on this one. But we got some more coming. As far as Wichita Brewing Company goes, not really a gaming place for me. More, like I said, more of a restaurant. Sit down, get something to eat, and try something fantastic. But from there, we're going to travel. We're going to travel a ways. And I'm going to tell you, this goes back. Wichita Brewing's been open for 12 years. So that's probably about as long as I've had that growler. But the next one, 10 years ago, I went on a work trip. Different company, different time. Went on a work trip up to Seattle, Washington. Now, Washington State is a great place for craft beer. I knew them before going up there for Red Hook. Now, while I didn't actually get to visit Red Hook, I would say it's probably on my bucket list of breweries if I ever go back. I have a lot of friends and family up in the area. One of my cousins, huge craft beer fan since he moved up there, so I definitely need to go on a brewery tour up with him, hopefully in the future. But we will start with something that's a little franchisey. The Rock Pizza. Look these guys up. I remember the pizza being pretty solid. This was mainly more of those, I needed something to eat. They had some beer. I, killed two birds with one stone. Got something fantastic to take back to the hotel. Got a pizza to take back to the hotel. I'm not a lot lie. That is pretty much most of my experience with this place. And like I said, it's been 10 years. But it was also the first growler I ever bought and, took back on an airplane. So I have been known to do that a few times over the years. But I will say I do remember what I had because I looked it up on their website. Jumpin' Jack Black. I think this is kind of like a dark ale. Remember it being pretty solid, but, this was one of two growlers I kept in the hotel room with me to, kind of have an after-work drink each night. Like I said, solid place. If you're up there, let me know what you still think about these. I know they're franchised. I know they have quite a few locations, and not even just in Washington. I know this started in Washington. I think Tacoma, but I saw some other locations that were outside of the state. So definitely more of a franchise these days. But maybe that's just a tribute to their success. I don't know. I do not know, but I do remember them being quite good. But speaking of quite good, this other place that I went, I believe probably a couple nights after, as much more of a tap house, much more of, the experience you want. And it is the Diamond Knot. The Diamond Knot Craft Brewing, they are, got a couple different locations, but this is in Mukilteo, Washington. The place I went to, I believe, is the Ale House. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody that lives up there. But they had a very fantastic location right off the water. I believe there was a ferry spot just down the road. Maybe it was across the street, but I just remember, kind of what you expect as far as scenery when you go to Washington State, at least as far as kind of being on that west side. Not a whole lot of mountains, at least where this was at. Those are up north, further north than where I was at. But I will say, this place was great. I remember ordering a steak. They had a cook-your-own stone type steak thing, which I remember it being pretty good. But I was up there with friends. This was a place they took me. I looked at their beer list, though. I will tell you, they have nitros, which I'm going to tell you, I feel like there was a pretty big nitro fad for a while. Kind of died down a little bit, so it's really cool to see that they still do, a lot of their pours on nitro. But I also want to say, I remember them having an ESB. I remember that because Red Hook has an ESB. It was one of the first ESBs I ever had, and I really, really liked it. So I remember going, hey, I need to order an ESB. I believe it stands for Extra Special Bitter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but fantastic place. I would definitely go back, especially if I'm up in the Seattle, Everett area. Really, really like this place. Really good experience. The Diamond Knot, and it was really cool. I really like that art on the growler. Very, very cool. But this one in the Rock Pizza, they were traveling with me back home when I left that trip. So, speaking of a great place. So I remember this place, kind of restaurant-y, but also more of a tap house as well. Great place to go. If you're traveling, you're taking games, you're going to go pub house. A game I would always take with me, whether it's going for family, going with family, whether it's even just going with, casual buddies, and a small game to pack in your carry-on and whatnot. RHINO Hero. Really, really like this one. I've played this with my daughter. I played this with family. I have played this on a boys' night, playing cards at 11, 12 o'clock at night. This one's a fun one to get out. Everybody really enjoys it. Very small box. Obviously, the cards do fall, but generally don't need a whole lot of real estate to play this either. So RHINO Hero is a pub game for sure for me. I like taking to places, local or traveling. Liking it a lot. So the next place, this would have been about 8 years ago or so, and this is probably one of the best brewery tour experiences of my life. One of them, I will say. Went to the wonderful state, the colorful state of Colorado. And I will tell you, as far as Colorado goes, as far as a craft beer microbrew state, it's one of the best. Argue with me all you want. It's one of the best places in the United States to do a brewery tour. It's beautiful, and there's tons of them. So we'll be talking about a few of those. So I went to Colorado for my sister's wedding. It was a small wedding. They decided not to have very many people. In fact, I'm pretty sure she only invited me because I could take pictures, I could take video, and that's and that was it. They needed witnesses, but her husband's brother and sister-in-law also went. He actually officiated the wedding, and the whole wedding was done in Estes Park. I'm not necessarily sure why my sister and them, kind of gravitated to this place. I do know the only thing super important about Estes Park, as far as that situation went, was we stayed at the Stanley Hotel. Very old hotel. I believe it's where Stephen King wrote The Shining, and it was even in one of the Shining movies. And they play The Shining on a channel continuously, but very, very beautiful, up in the mountains. And on the way into Colorado, we ended up stopping in Denver for a couple reasons, but I wanted to go right off the bat, grab a growler to take with us to Estes, and we stopped at Great Divide down in Denver, Colorado. I believe they call this one the ballpark location, because it is over by Rocky Stadium. But I remember getting into town. Denver's crazy, not as crazy as other places, but a little bit of traffic. Downtown's congested. Got to get parking, but this place was slammed. I remember that. It was an in and out situation. We might have had a beer there, but I'm not even sure we did, because it was packed full of people. Definitely not a place at that time to play a game. Just shoulder to elbow with people. But I will tell you, Great Divide's got some great beers. great beers. Some of the ones that I would say are their best are going to be their Yeti. I believe it's a stout. The Titan, which is an IPA, and then the Hercules, which is a Imperial IPA. All fantastic flagship beers from Great Divide. Like I said, pretty much a run in and run out, but my experience with Great Divide over the years has been pretty solid. Pretty solid experience with what they have. They have obviously more than I talked about, but it won't be. I do think they're a bigger brewery, microbrew in Colorado, but compared to some of the ones that are coming up, you know, they're in there. They're in there. I don't want to downplay it. So, anyways, we ended up picking that up, going out to Estes Park. I did the whole wedding thing, took gorgeous photos. I believe we went out to dinner that night because I paid for dinner for the 6 of us. We went to a local watering hole. They had their own in-house brewery beer. Fantastic food, fantastic experience. Good dinner situation, decent little tap house place. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it was a gaming place to play, but I remember it being quite fun. We did the whole wedding experience, and then my wife and I ended up staying a couple extra days afterwards in Colorado. So we ended up going to Longmont. This was all by the, skin of, I don't even know how you say it. It was very spontaneous. We didn't really necessarily have a plan, but we had a great experience, I'll tell you right now. So we ended up in Longmont that night. Longmont. So if you know anything about Longmont, you know anything about breweries, there's only one that really, really, is the place when you think about Longmont, and that is Left Hand Brewing. I love Left Hand Brewing. This is the brewery that got me drinking nitro beers. They have an excellent nitro milk stout. They have went on with that line. I think I did a key lime nitro semi-recently. Fantastic. If you haven't had a nitro, different experience, especially if you're a person that generally is okay with beer but doesn't love it. Nitros may be what you need to check out. But I will tell you, they got milk stouts, they got nitros, and I believe I got this filled up with Wake Up. I can't read my own handwriting. It's an Imperial Stout. Wake Up Dead, I believe is what it's called. Imperial Stout. Fantastic beer. The tap house itself is pretty much, I would say, a visual representation of what I think a tap house should be. Lots of places to sit, good counter space to go up, order your beer. They have a food truck situation. I don't remember what they had going on that night. We didn't actually eat there. But I will say, I remember being pretty spacious. And this is another great opportunity to talk about another game. So I'll talk about a family game because I will say, going with my wife, this would be probably something her and I would play. We play it with our daughter quite a bit. And it is one of those games that doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Not something you typically think of as a pub game. I will say that. But I will say TSURO is a great pub game. Doesn't take up a whole lot of space. You're drawing tiles. The board's relatively small. And it's very easy to learn. In fact, you can, kind of tune in and tune out, between turns. You can look and, see what you need to do. If you don't know anything about this game, I haven't talked a whole lot on the channel, so it's a path laying game. You want to be the last one on the board. So that alone is kind of a fun concept, for a social game. So yeah, TSURO, very, very fun game. I believe my buddy picked this up for me for a birthday several years back, and it's stuck around. So this is a good one. Especially not a huge box, but I will say decent pub game. I will say that. But yeah, Left Hand would be a great place to play beer. To play a game if you're ever in Longmont, Colorado. This would be a great spot to stop in. Especially like I said, they have a food truck schedule. You never know what you're gonna get with the food truck. Some of the best food I've had is from a food truck. So since we didn't eat at Left Hand that night, we ended up looking for a place to eat. Found a place to eat. Great food. Also makes their own beer in-house. And we have a place called Pumphouse locally, but this is very, very cool. Pumphouse Brewery, Longmont, Colorado. Very, it's not a chain, I don't believe. It is, it's kind of a sports bar. A very good place to eat. I remember the food being pretty excellent. Very, decent menu. A little bit of everything for everybody kind of place, but more of a restaurant. Not a place necessarily to go game in. I mean, I'm sure a lot of these places you go on off hours for sure. Especially if this is your favorite place to get a beer. But I remember the beer being pretty solid, you know, just a very good menu across the board, nothing special. I wouldn't use the word safe, but their selection was safe. And yeah, I remember getting dinner that night at the Pumphouse. Fun location to get food. And now, we're still on the same trip. I will tell you, this was probably the most epic beer crawl day. Is this even gonna pour? I don't know. Oh, we got some more. We got some more going. Maybe it's just too cold. I don't know. We'll have to check that out. Like I said, we need to troubleshoot this thing. But 8-bit, I would say, little citrusy, mostly hops. It's a pale ale, so it's not too hoppy. But we're gonna go into the most fantastic brew day I can think of. And it all started in Fort Collins, Colorado. So we drove up north. And I don't think this was the first place we stopped. I think we got a piece of pizza and a beer right when we got in. But Equinox Brewing, they're still open. I checked. They also have a really solid beer menu, IPAs, a little bit of everything. They keep track of, you know, their past beers. I thought that was kind of cool. Very, very easy to find, too. I don't know what I had. I know I probably had a flight, had a couple different things, but I do remember it being a pretty good micro brew. It's like I said, it's one of those places, for not knowing what it was, this had a great atmosphere. Had a patio out front, and you walk in, and it's just what you expect to see in a tap house. Tables, you know, spread out, great little environment. And I will tell you, this is a great place. This would have been a great place to bring a different game around. Game called KLASK. This game is definitely one of my favorite pub games. It's a little bit big, but compared to a lot of dexterity games, it's not the worst game. And I'll also tell you right now, off topic, if you don't know, I'm running a giveaway for this right now. So if you're watching this pretty close to the time, even a couple weeks after, probably even before, you know, even when this next part comes out for this series, this giveaway will probably still be going on. Check out that video. I will link it. But KLASK, fantastic pub game. Fantastic. In fact, I have extra pieces. This isn't even just really a 2-player game. I played this at 4 players with, it's crazy. You know, extra magnets on the board, you know, 2v2. Fantastic. I also think they have a 4-player version of this, but KLASK, you want a copy? Go check out that giveaway. But we're going to keep talking about Equinox, because like I said, this would have been a great place to play this. Great atmosphere. And definitely, out of all the ones we visited in Fort Collins, the most low-key, probably unheard of place, but it doesn't mean it's not good. And this art, also very cool. I will say, Growler art is a lot of reason I collect, other than just kind of remembering the experiences. But the day did not stop at Equinox. Oh, far from it. Far from it. We went to one of the biggest places in Colorado. One of the biggest microbrew that I don't even think, probably a macro brew at this point. New Belgium. Huge place, bikes everywhere. If you can't tell, they have a bike rack. Colorado's a great place if you are a cyclist. You want to go ride, big rides, or even just, you know, ride place to place. Fantastic place to go. Fort Collins, beautiful city. But yes, New Belgium, huge place. So if you don't know, New Belgium is known for Fat Tire. They're known for 1554, I believe that is a dark ale. And then one of my favorite series, I'm pretty sure you've seen this on this channel, Voodoo Ranger. There's so many Voodoo Rangers these days, but I probably had the original Voodoo Ranger when I went here. I don't even think I probably filled this. I don't think I mean, I probably filled it. But anyways, New Belgium, huge place, does brewery tours, at least a few times a week that I know of. I know we did the brewery tour. That's how I know it's a really big place. And just, you know, beautiful environment, you know, mountains in the backdrop. Fort Collins, like I said, very beautiful city. And they have some really good breweries. New Belgium is generally available nationwide. So I'm sure if you ran across them, but this is also the biggest growler in my collection, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, New Belgium Brewing. Fantastic place. Like I said, kind of busy. I don't know if it's the best place to go play a board game or anything like that. definitely go find yourself more of an intimate tap house. I think that's kind of what I like to do, especially locally. But I'll tell you, as big as New Belgium is, this other place is equal, and at least in my heart. And we're talking Odell. It's also the only clear growler I like. I will say I like this on the back. This is the reuse recycling green initiative. Love that kind of stuff. So very cool as far as what growlers do. Just fill them up, take them home, fill them up, take them home. Yeah, Odell. Also, very big brewery. Very big brewery. Brewery tours, pretty well known, at least in my area. They got some great stuff. 90 shilling. They have probably one of the best standard IPAs on the market. I know at a pizza place locally, that was my go-to beer. The Odell IPA. Every single time I went there, that's what I got in the bottle. And then more recently, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, on the Discord, I probably posted it at least once. Hazer Tag, really recent. It's a hazy IPA. If I haven't done anything on it, I'll probably pick it up because it's available local. We can check that out together in the future. But Odell Brewing Company, fantastic day. I mean, seriously, we went to a intimate place, and two massive juggernaut breweries in Colorado. That's why, like I said, just one city, and you get both of these in here. Colorado, fantastic place, and that was the last place we visited. We ended up staying in Denver for the night and headed home. We had I don't think our daughter was one yet. It was our first trip after child. So second trip after child, without the child, was I want to say about 6 months later. Second time I ever went out to Las Vegas. First time for my wife. Went out there with one of my really, really good friends. If you know him on the Discord, is Joji. Good little trip. Good experience. Very fun. I love traveling with Jason. But we ended up going to Sin City Brewing while we were there. Now, since then, Sin City did close in 2020. Don't know anything more than that. They kind of have like a 5 beer and a rotational tap system. My wife and I went to the Venetian, where like the Grand Canal shops are, and that's where we checked these guys out. But we had a great trip. Great trip to Las Vegas. Probably one of the places I would love to go back and probably see if I could experience more of the craft beer scene. There's a lot of cities that I've been to that I feel like have been misses. Las Vegas, like I said, definitely would go back, check them out. A lot of really cool stuff recently, in Vegas that I would like to go check out. But while we were there, some good experiences. They had the wheel up. In fact, me and my wife got engaged on the wheel. We also checked out Topgolf. Wasn't around then, but probably the other big thing that I'll always remember is we went to the Marquee one of the nights. It's a club, it's a dance club, and I got to see a European DJ that I've always listened to, Dash Berlin. So very, very fun night. I think that was probably the first and the last EDM experience for my buddy. He's not the biggest into electronic music, but we had a really good time. Like I said, one of those once-in-a-life experiences. I'd love to go to a couple more shows like that. But yeah, fantastic trip. Came back engaged, and it made me hungry to go on some more trips. And that's what we'll do in the next one. We'll go on some more trips, couple more places to talk about as far as travel goes, but a lot of local places too. We'll talk about more pub games in the next one. We'll talk maybe how we take some of those pub games. Hopefully I can figure out what's going on with this. I don't really want to open it up, but anybody that has one of these, maybe I can just force carbonate. Bleed the cartridge out, put a new cartridge in. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. I don't know how long the cartridges are supposed to last. 2 weeks obviously might have been too long. But thanks for going on this journey with me. We'll have a part 3 for this. Probably in about 2 weeks, unless I can't get this to work, then we might rush that a little bit. I'm not really sure. But I hope all of you guys had a fantastic day. Feel free to share some of your experiences with some of these locations, some of your recommendations for places to go. Like I said, tap houses, breweries, great places to play games. I like it. I love the experience. I got a lot more to talk about in the next one, and I will see you guys then. Much love.